let's zoom out a little. We are yet to solve tensions in our own region, but India is indeed playing a key role as peacemaker in other parts of the world, a major role when it comes to how the world is looking to India for mediation. Russia, Ukraine, the situation there, Israel-Hamas war, the situation there. But a very specific question, Dr. Jaishankar. There was a report which said that the United States of America looked to India, as also China, and that Prime Minister Modi did avert a nuclear attack by Russia. Will you confirm?
Look, we have, since the conflict in Ukraine started, there have been a number of issues in which we've been involved. We haven't been very public and explicit about all of them. In many cases, one or the other party or a third party or an international organization has asked us to weigh in some form. And if we believe that doing so was helpful, because, you know, ideally at this time, I mean, I would say, frankly, the world wants this conflict to end. But it's not something that anybody is expecting in the near term, unfortunately. So the most sensible thing to do is to say, okay, let me at least help to solve one part of a problem or reduce one tension or relieve one worry. So there have been a lot of these situations, quite honestly, more than you probably know, and including sometimes fairly recent ones. You know, we do what a responsible country which has good relations with everybody does.
But did he weigh in on a nuclear attack? Did he weigh in? Was there a conversation?
As I said, we have been continuously doing whatever we can to reduce tensions, to relieve worries, to see that things don't happen which make it worse.
I can tell you you can't take the diplomat out of Dr. Jaishankar.
Yeah, you're not going to get him to say we averted a nuclear attack. Okay, let's move from Russia, Ukraine now to the Indian Ocean, Dr. Jaishankar, where, you know, with the Red Sea, with the fallout of what's happened between Israel and Gaza, there's been a very positive spotlight on India and its role in the Arabian Sea, in the Indian Ocean. We're also seeing, you know, an elevated level of aggression from the Chinese, whether it is in Maldives, whether it is elsewhere, as far as its own intentions as far as the Indian Ocean are concerned. Can you tell us how India is navigating this? It's a complex, shape-shifting issue. Can you tell us how the next government will handle this? This is a situation that is likely to become a bigger churn, sir.
Well, look, I think there are multiple things which are happening in the Indian Ocean. One part of it, as you referred to, which is Red Sea, Gulf of Aden, etc. We are, in fact, right now we have an ongoing situation with one of our ships, INS Calcutta. So we are, you know, again, as a responsible country, contributing our bit for maritime safety, security, dealing with the, prospect of drone and missile attacks on shipping, countering piracy. And this is important for people in our country to recognize and appreciate, because the era when the global commons would be looked after by other people, that era is now behind us. So countries like us have to weigh in more, be more active, to use our forces for common good in a way. And the Red Sea, Gulf of Aden deployment, we have, I think, about 12 ships there. So if you look in terms of national commitment, we would be among the larger national presence, not the largest, but among the larger national presence out there. The second part of it would be, again, if you've seen the last 10 years, we've been very active as a first responder. That when you have natural disasters, it was the Yemen civil war, it was going back to 2015, a water crisis in Maldives, a landslide in Sri Lanka, a cyclone in Myanmar. So where, again, now I contrast that, with, say, 2 decades ago, where again, when we had the tsunami in 2004, essentially, apart from India, really much of the succor and support came from outside forces in a way. So we have to see, it could be a conflict kind of situation, it could be a natural disaster, but our responsibilities and our activities in the region have actually grown tremendously in the last decade. The other part of it is the strategic part of it, which is the natural contestation between states, the competition out there, countries, maneuvering, out-maneuvering, countering, exerting influence, countering that influence. That is something which is part of the competitive nature of world politics. Now, there will be ups and downs. That is also to be expected. Often, political developments in one or the other country can impact it. I mean, looking back, perhaps we should have been strategically much more aware than we were. For example, when Hambantota was first built, I don't think there was sufficient understanding in this country. We are talking 2008, 9, 10, roughly that period, about the implications that it would have for a country like India. We are today very aware. We are very active. If you look, actually, I'm giving you a kind of a bureaucratic MEA speak explanation. But, when we actually had a strategy called Sagar, the whole idea of Sagar is end-to-end look at the ocean as a consolidated space. It could be island states, it could be the oceans, it could be a regional effort. Don't deal with it in bits and pieces, and be aware of your strategic interests and do what you have to do to safeguard it. So these are all, look, there's no end to it. I mean, this is a permanent objective of a country for whom an ocean space that is so proximate to it and where we have such a central spacing. We will have to be continuously and persistently active out there.
There's also concern, Dr. Jaishankar, when it comes to social media, how foreign policy is decided, not decided in the social media space today. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes we have false narratives being built in that space. How do you look at that? How does one counter that at a time when you have biases coming in? Various countries have their own perspectives. There's hypocrisy in how they see India's position on certain matters that don't suit their interests. How does one challenge and beat this?
Well, look, I am paid to fix foreign policy. I'm not paid to fix social media. I mean, no, to be honest, nobody can fix social media. I mean, the nature of the platform is such that everything which you somewhat disapprovingly state is actually something which gets more eyeballs in social media.
But what about the biases from international
it will happen. I take it as a given.
countries?
Look, I may not like it, but because I don't like it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. I assume this is a medium which is very angular, which is very naturally given to strong views, where the sense of being responsible for what you are posting is somewhat diminished. These are the facts of life with which we operate. So you counter it fairly rapidly. So the days when, let us say, the XP division of MEA could sit over something for a few hours or a day, etc., those are behind us. I mean, on the run, I mean, sometimes we see a tweet, I mean, we counter it, frankly, sometimes within minutes.